Hi there, welcome back. It's Kyle. Today is Friday, January 12th, 2024. And as you can tell, I am out and about driving around. I just got done taking what's called a vocal stress test. It's kind of the predecessor to what used to be the lie detector test. This, instead of putting a bunch of straps on you and all that crap, hooking you up to a computer, they just have a microphone that you talk into. This is part of a requirement for one of the jobs that I'm applying for. And of course, I passed that with ease because I'm a good kid. But yeah, so that's exciting. They said I'd be moving on to the next stage, which should just be a normal run-of-the-mill drug test, which I will also pass, and then get a start date for that, assuming I accept that job. But at the same time, I also have another job that's still interested in me as well, so we'll kind of play it by ear, see which one ends up being a better fit for me. Which one has better pay, which one has better benefits, which one has better PTO. PTO is big, because for me, I am a big proponent of cruising, and I'm a big proponent of having time for yourself as well. But yeah, so that's exciting. This today will be a little bit longer than the past few have been, so because I actually have stuff to talk about. So yeah, I apologize for not looking directly at you, because I am driving, and keeping safe on the road is the most important thing, of course. But yeah, so enough about the job stuff for now. When I get more information, I will definitely keep you in the loop on that. But on to some other stuff. Yesterday, or maybe it was the day before, I talked briefly about the weather we are expecting. The forecast is calling for anywhere from 3 to 6 or 4 to 8 inches of snow over the next 24-hour period. It all depends on which weather station you listen to and all that good stuff. The snow where I am at currently just started roughly an hour ago, and it's very light but wet, and it's just now starting to stick to the ground in a few locations, not everywhere. The temp outside has dropped to 32 degrees, so that means we will start seeing it stick to the ground as well here shortly, pretty much everywhere. But at the rate it's snowing right now, we would be hard-pressed to see even 2 inches of snow. I am not a meteorologist by any means, but I do find that sort of stuff interesting, so I have dabbled in it quite a bit. I am a certified storm chaser, that sort of stuff. But yeah, so I look at the radars all the time. Radar Scope. If you guys are on iPhone, I think they have an Android application as well. I definitely know they have a Windows application. But that's my go-to radar application. And then I used to use Dark Sky until it got bought out by Apple and turned off. And now Apple has their own that's supposed to be using Dark Sky stuff, but it's not anywhere near as good as it used to be. But yeah, so we will see. So I am in an area called Fort Wayne, for those of you who aren't in this area. Fort Wayne, Indiana, is where I was at to do my testing, but I live up in DeKalb County, which is about half an hour, 45 minutes north of Fort Wayne. So there is a difference in weather and expected snowfall amounts between the two. And when I had left DeKalb, the snow had not yet started. So as I get into DeKalb, I expect to see a little bit more precipitation, maybe some more on the ground, but I will follow up later in the evening and into tomorrow to show you if we got anything significant or not. But yeah, enough about the weather. Also yesterday, maybe it was the day before, I talked briefly about a couple different things, one of which is Disney. Disney on the 9th was the first day where, number one, the Disney dining plan is back, which is exciting, and they are having a special for families that are staying, well, I guess it doesn't have to be families, but guests who are staying on property during certain time frame, where you get a free dining plan with your stay. There are caveats in there, like you got to be 4 nights, you have to have park tickets, all that good stuff. But yeah, so that is super exciting. The dining plan is something, this time around it's not exactly like it was before. Of course, nothing is after COVID. In the past, the dining plan had a few different levels, the most expensive of which gave you basically 2 points, 2 meals a day that you could use doing certain stuff, sit down meals. This is a terrible explanation of it, but some restaurants on property, sit down restaurants, require 1 point. Some require 2 points. And the most expensive one gave you enough that you could eat at one of the expensive restaurants that required 2 points quite frequently. As you have been able to tell, I am what I would consider a foodie, and actually most people would consider me a foodie because I talk about food all the time. I have a smoker, Camp Chef, Woodwind Pro 36-inch. I also have a Blackstone flat top, also 36-inch, that I absolutely love. I use it all the time. Have not used it recently due to a whole bunch of issues, none of which are issues with the equipment, just issues with myself. But yeah, so I absolutely love cooking. I am a huge fan of the eating experience, and I enjoy trying new restaurants. On Disney property, there is a restaurant called Shula's. Shula's is at the Swan and Dolphin. I don't remember which one of the two, the Swan and Dolphin, they're sister hotels, but they are separate hotels that are right beside each other. The Shula's is a nice high-end steakhouse there. It is pricier, definitely pricier, and you could easily spend $50 to $100 a person eating there and not break a sweat. It's up there in price, but it is worth it. We have now eaten there twice. The steaks are phenomenal. The sides are phenomenal. They have an apple crisp dessert that is excellent, but they run out of those frequently. There is a limited amount. I highly recommend Shula's. Shula's is a place where you'll probably need to get a reservation sometime earlier in advance. And it's different because it's not officially a Disney restaurant, even though it is on Disney property. With Disney restaurants, you can get reservations 60 days in advance. Shula's, you can get them way earlier than that. So if you are on Disney property and you have the money and time and you enjoy a nice sit-down meal, I highly recommend Shula's. Then there is, and this is going to sound odd, one of our other favorite places to eat is the T-Rex Cafe over at Disney Springs. This restaurant is the exact opposite of Shula's. It is not a fancy place. It is not a place you're going to get the absolute best tasting food. The food is mediocre. It's on par with like an Applebee's, I'd say. So it's nothing fancy, but the atmosphere is the whole point of going there. You walk in, you're greeted by dinosaurs. There's a show that plays on the sky about every 15 minutes. And it's a little noisy inside there, but again, you're on Disney property, and it's the theming that you're paying for. When you're at Disney is all about the theming. It takes you out of the real world and puts you into this new existence. And lots of the restaurants that are outside of the parks but still on property, like at Disney Springs, you don't get that same experience. Disney Springs costs no money to go into. It's just a big shopping plaza. But you have this opportunity to eat at a restaurant there that gives you the same experience as eating inside, kind of like eating at the Rainforest Cafe. And I know it's a weird recommendation, but especially if you have kids on the spectrum that like dinosaurs, kids in general that like dinosaurs, any of that, they'll absolutely love it. But at the same time, keep in mind, if you have kids that are afraid of that stuff, it's in your face there. But it is an awesome restaurant. Again, the food is nothing to write home about. You will definitely be able to find better food, but it'll cost you more. But you're going there solely for the atmosphere. Another place to eat that actually has decent food but requires a park ticket is, actually I can't think of the name of it. It's over by disregard that. It'll come to me later, some other day. We'll go on food recommendations for Disney trips. That's not what we're doing today. Sorry, I got off on a tangent there. The other big exciting news that we talked about was the Icon of the Seas, Royal Caribbean's newest ship, just made it to the Port of Miami the other day. About a day or two ago. Seems like could have been on the night. All the days are running together. And they will soon be departing with paying passengers for its first cruise. They have a couple cruises where it's not paying passengers. You got like the media and all that good stuff. But this is an Icon class ship, and it is the largest cruise ship in the world. So that goes by gross tonnage, the amount of weight. So it might not necessarily hold the most people, but it is the largest cruise ship in the world. And it's kind of controversial. Some people have seen it and they absolutely hate the look of it. They think it looks ugly. Others have absolutely loved the look. I saw it online. I am not in Florida, and I think the look is iconic, fitting because it's the icon of the seas. The most controversial part of it is the dome in the front that some people say kind of looks like it was an afterthought. I think the ship looks futuristic, whereas most of the ships that I see out there today look dated. I have only sailed so far on the Disney ships, and we'll get back to that, on the Disney ships, and they are definitely older ships, with the exception of the two new ones who are just getting out there, the Treasure and the Wish. But that is a look that Disney's going for. They want that classic cruise ship look, and they pull it off. It is a theme that they have decided on and they do an excellent job of maintaining that theme. This Icon class looks like something that you would expect to see in the 20s, the 2020s, you know. It doesn't have that same old ship look anymore, and I think that's what part of the problem is for some people. You have a large subset of people who like to cruise, who have been cruising for a long time, and they are comfortable with the look and feel that they get on certain ships. And Royal Caribbean has a completely different feel than Disney. Just by looking at the ships, you can tell that. But it's still a look and feel that you get used to when you go on a ship. Cruising is not the same as staying at a hotel. If you've never been on a cruise before, when you get on a cruise, even if it's just a 4-night cruise, you know, you are on that cruise, and that cruise ship becomes your home. And then when you get to go back to that ship or another ship that's in that same class that has that same overall feel, you are stepping back onto a ship that you feel at home with. It's kind of like if you always stay at the same Hilton when you go on a trip, and you always get the same type of room. When you get back there, it's kind of like falling back into something that you're used to, and it's peaceful because it's, you know, it's something that can calm you down because you're used to it, while everything else is a new exciting adventure for you. Even if you've gone to the Caribbean 10 times, you're only going to the Caribbean for a day or two at a time. You know, you might stay at this port for 6 hours. You might stay at this port for 8 hours each time you go on a single cruise. But on that single cruise, you are on the ship for 4 days, 7 days, 9 days, you know, whatever it is. So you spend a lot more time getting used to the innards of the ship, your rooms on the ship, all that good stuff. And it becomes your home away from home. And then you tie that comfort of it being your home away from home with the memories that come just naturally by making these trips to places that you've wanted to go to your entire life. You know, just like everybody remembers the first time they flew on an airplane, what that felt like. The first time you pull into port in Havana, or wherever you're going to be docking at them, and any of those ports. I don't even know if Havana has a port, but the first time you pull up into a port, that's something that you're going to remember for years and years to come, and you're going to talk about it. You know, you're going to talk about the color of the water, all that good stuff. But you start talking about that before you even get off the ship. The ship is what is the biggest part of that memory, and that includes all the goods and bads that ship has. So people get used to that, and then all of a sudden a new class comes out and it changes the layout, and now people are thrown for a loop because they're not getting what they're used to getting, or things aren't where they used to be. Things have changed, and people in general don't seem to appreciate change. But yeah, I personally think the Icon of the Seas looks phenomenal, and it's definitely updated. I cannot wait to go on the ship. It will be quite a while until I go. I personally have a cruise booked for this year. In September, we're going on we are going on Carnival. It is the Carnival Sunrise that we're going to be going on. Fun fact, Carnival Sunrise is what used to be called the Poop Ship, because a while back they had an issue where they broke down, and yeah, you can actually go on YouTube and check out that. If you look up the Poop Cruise, you'll find out about that. But since then, It's been brought to dry dock, and worked on. They've had a couple of issues here or there with like air conditioning and stuff, but it's all good to go. And we'll be going on that in September. That'll be a 5-night cruise, and this will be our first time cruising with Carnival. So I am super excited for that. Like I said, we normally sail with Disney. Disney is a cruise ship that has no real comparison. It's not like other cruise companies. You could say it's a luxury cruise line, but it doesn't have all the luxury stuff that comes with the luxury cruise lines. But people call it a luxury cruise line because of the price point to get in. But it's not like a Carnival cruise or a Royal Caribbean cruise. It's a slightly more themed. It's not heavily themed. The restaurants are definitely heavily themed. The rooms are moderately themed. They do have Disney characters out. They play Disney movies and stuff like that. But it's not like as in your face as you would expect. And people who aren't Disney fans can still go and have a good time on it. The thing that makes a Disney cruise such a good cruise for me and for everybody that I have talked to directly about Disney cruises that have been on them is the hospitality. Disney back in the day was known for their customer service. They call it the old school Disney magic. That is still alive and flourishing on the Disney cruises. The moment you step on the cruise ship, they announce your arrival to the entire ship. You get on, there's a welcome dance and all that good stuff. They got the normal sail away parties that every cruise line has. But then you go to your main dining. The main dining is what they call a rotational dining. And you stay with the same wait staff the entirety of your trip, but you go to a different restaurant every night that you're on the ship. There are 3 main dining restaurants that are included, and you rotate between the 3. And the theming in that restaurant changes as well. So if you do repeat it, like on a 7-night cruise, you're going to go to each of the restaurants twice, plus one of them a third time. The theme changes in the restaurant as well, as does the uniform of the employees. There are shows that go on during your dining and all that good stuff. But the employees, the ship crew, they are what make the Disney cruise a Disney cruise. They know you. They remember your name. They remember everything that you like. So we'll get into that a little bit more. So I just realized that this has been going on for quite some time, especially compared to my normal ones. So I'm going to go ahead and end it for now. Like I said, I will check back in later to give a little update on the weather to see if we actually got any significant snowfall, if anything actually stuck to the ground or any of that. I'm not hopeful that we are, but we'll see what we got. And yeah, so I promise you we get some longer ones in. Today is one of the longer ones. Hope you enjoy it. I know many of you aren't even going to see this part because you'll stop watching 30 seconds in. But for those of you who did watch all the way to the end, thank you very much. The normal, please like and subscribe. Yay, thank you. And as many of you have found out, I am replying to every comment. So thank you for everybody who's been commenting. I still can't believe that one of my videos has almost 200 views already, and it's been up for like a week, less than a week, with multiple comments and everything as well. That just blows my mind that many people have watched me sit here and ramble. But yeah, if you have stuff in particular you'd like me to talk about, leave me a message as well. I can definitely tailor some of this to you guys. Yeah, this is just as much for you as it is for me. And again, it's an experiment to see how things go. But yeah, so I will let you go, and catch you later. Bye-bye. And as promised, this is an update about 7 hours later with the snow. Snow is scheduled to continue through the night into the morning. It's a little slippery out. But to give you an idea, kind of see it's about an inch of snow so far. Still saying we're expecting to get upwards of 4 to 5 inches before it's all said and done, all within the next 24 hours or so. But yeah, it is pretty outside though. And the train goes by. All right, it's cold outside. See you tomorrow.